Helvar is adding environmental sensing into our already successful lighting control solutions. If you want to offer facilities managers, building owners or tenants the most healthy spaces for building occupants with the highest levels of energy performance, watch this video for a demo of our Helvar Senses solution and its practical deliverables. We start with our lighting control solutions, which we have two flavors. First is our wired DALI 2 offering called Imagine, and second is our wireless Bluetooth mesh offering called Active Ahead. Both can be connected to our Insights digital service platform, where we can offer different modules depending on the needs of the client. Modules such as energy monitoring, monitoring control, and space utilization. Helvar Senses will add a new module to Insights called Well-being, where we can monitor the environmental conditions of the space in the building. And we can do this through our wired or wireless systems, with the wireless solution becoming available first. Now let's have a look in a bit more detail at the solution, starting with the sensors. Lighting control sensors are very common in a building and typically are the most dense sensor network. Therefore, we believe adding environmental sensing is a natural addition to lighting control systems. This sensor is anything but common. It's our new environmental sensor, the 3901. It will work like a traditional lighting control presence detector, but we have packed this one with an array of sensors, so it can sense and measure the environment in your building. Then in order to make our solution as flexible for future use as possible, we can also let you add wirelessly new sensors, either on install or later. We call these extension sensors, and here's the first which will be available on launch, and this is an ecosystem we wish to grow in the future. This extension sensor is battery powered with a 4-year battery life and also has an e-ink display showing the current air quality and climate conditions. Now let's jump into the demo to show how these sensors are set up as part of the Helvar lighting control system. The first thing that happens when environmental sensors are installed, depending on if it's a wired or wireless system, is they get discovered, identified, and grouped with the rest of the lighting in the space. I'm demoing the wireless Active Ahead solution today, so I can do this straight on the Active Ahead app. For the wired solution, you need to do this using our Designer PC software. First, I connect to the Bluetooth mesh and discover all my Helvar nodes. I'm closest to the 3901 environmental sensor, so it's going to appear at the top of my list. Then I can identify the sensor by pressing this icon, and the LED light ring around the sensor will start blinking to let me know which lights I should group around the sensor. Once I've grouped the sensor, it will start controlling the lights in that group via the PIR. Then through the app, I can see real-time the environmental measurements to allow the user setting up the device to check whether the device is sensing its environment and what the current measurements are. For example, if I pick up the sensor and talk a little bit louder next to it, then you'll see the real-time ambient noise level increasing in decibels. And this is the list of environmental measurements which are being detected by the sensor. Thermal comfort is indicated by the first two, temperature and humidity. Then air quality is indicated by volatile organic compounds and carbon dioxide. And lighting and acoustic comfort is indicated by ambient noise and ambient light. This sensor also has a clever added feature which combines the ambient noise with PIR to enhance occupancy detection and can be enabled or disabled using the app. It works by detecting speech patterns amongst other indoor noises, and if speech is detected, the system will extend the occupancy timeout in the group to keep the lights on for a little longer after the PIR has stopped detecting motion. This helps improve comfort levels, for example, people working in office spaces, preventing undesirable scenarios such as lights going off when you're on a video call. Essentially, when you're talking but not moving very much. perfect for meeting rooms and personal spaces. Speech alone won't turn on the lights to maximize energy savings. And if you have an extension sensor connected, I can also see the data from these sensors through the app. So now the sensors are connected and measuring their environment, let's have a look at what the data looks like on the Helvar Insights Wellbeing module. In my Wellbeing tab at the top, firstly I can see a filtered floor plan view where my environmental sensors are and if any spaces are currently performing poorly. For example, in this space, I can see a couple of amber alerts because it's getting hot and the air quality is getting poor, meaning people will be uncomfortable and likely getting less productive. When these alerts trigger, a notification can automatically be sent, so corrective action can be taken, or we can share this data with other systems such as BMS, so actions can be automated. Now I'm going to switch views. So I can see in this view what's happened in the past. This tab gives me a historic view and I can choose what space and time range I want to look at, either by year, month or day. It also gives me a comparison of what happened yesterday or last month depending on the time range selection, and that's the shaded graph at the back. You can see the air quality hasn't been very good on this day and the space hasn't been adequately ventilated for its use. In a previous video, I described how implementing Helvar Senses can close the energy performance gap in buildings. This gap is where energy is being wasted at various building systems or services has not been set up to match how people are actually using the space. Building certification schemes such as BREEAM recognizes the performance gap as significant, stating buildings typically consume 2 to 5 times more energy than predicted at design stage due to this performance gap. In this view, you can compare the actual HVAC performance with the actual space usage and see which spaces are not aligned with actual usage. A future over-the-air update of Insights will actually recommend the best HVAC schedule compared to actual usage, taking that guesswork away from facilities managers and thereby closing the performance gap for wasted energy. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the demonstration of Helvar Senses today, covering the environmental sensors, how to add these to the control system, and our Insights user interface. Thank you for watching.